Hey, this is Jordan McConnell, Crohn's Veteran Podcast. I'm joined by my co-host CJ Cabrera. Say hi to everybody, CJ.
Hey everybody.
Today's episode, we are joined by a good friend of mine, Adam Peterson. You can follow him at Acoustidoom Outlaw on Instagram. He's a singer-songwriter, very talented guy. We're going to talk to him today a little bit about what it's like, living with somebody with IBD and how to take care of people, and also, and how music and IBD intersect. So, Adam, thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
Cool. How you doing this morning?
Oh, not too bad. It's a little cooler this morning. We'll wait to see how things go. But I'm just to let everybody know, I know it appears that I am driving while we're doing this, and I can assure you, I am not. You should not be doing podcasts while you are driving. I do not endorse that.
Right.
I want to wake everybody up. So I'm in a vehicle right now from an undisclosed location. I am not driving.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so, well, yeah. So, so do me a favor and and do a little background. Speak on your experience living with somebody with IBD, and actually know who that somebody is, and and what that experience has been like.
Well, my wife, she, I think it was probably about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, she started having stomach pains and a lot of the symptoms of this. And she went through 2 or 3 different colonoscopies, couple endoscopes, things like that. And they just could not seem to lock down what the problem was. And, for people who've had the endoscope or the colonoscopy, neither one of those is a whole lot of fun. And doing it multiple times in a short amount of time, it's just takes a toll on you. And nothing that they gave her seemed to work. And she struggled with it, and she ended up being out of work for a while because they just couldn't lock down the problem. And that's when I discovered something called microdosing with cannabis, and that's what she started doing to actually treat her symptoms. And that was something that I had to learn about diet, because there's not one magic bullet for this thing. I mean, there's lots of different pieces of the puzzle, diet, exercise, I'm a big advocate for the medical use of cannabis, but I'm also realistic about it, and I understand that it is not a magic cure all. Like, it's not, you can't just, with this disease, you can't just take that and go, well, that's all I really need to do. There's multivitamins involved, there's things that they'll tell you, less red meat, things like that. And, as far as she goes, she's kind of proof that there's not one thing that works for everybody. There's days where, like I said, it was trial and error. There's days where you'd find out this doesn't work too well, or this does, 3-4 days where, she just basically balled up on the couch because there's nothing, and I know her physical effects are, far more than the psychological effects on me, but, it can be draining sometimes to try and take care of somebody and not, you're learning this right along with them. So having to take care of them, and there's just days where there's just nothing you can do to, help. And it can be draining and frustrating.
It sucks.
And, sometimes, people, sometimes people get a little upset because they get stressed out, and, the best thing a caretaker can do is just realize, like, don't, if they're upset and they're angry and, they kind of lash.
Don't add to that fire. Don't add to that fire.
Exactly. They're already in pain. So, just, you got to remember, it's not you, it's stress. I mean, your whole body, you get these symptoms, and there are moments where, your brain just stops working. Like you're sitting there and you can't, it hurts so bad that you can't even focus. Like, you know, it's like, you get those moments where you're like, am I dying? Because I can't even form a coherent thought right now. And imagine trying to communicate that pain to somebody where it's more than just a physical pain. When that pain radiates, it takes over, you know, it affects everything, you know, so you just, it's a patience thing. And if if you're taking care of somebody that's sick like this and you don't have that sort of patience, it's something you've got to learn to have real quick.
Mhm.
Because exactly. Yep. I mean, that's, that's definitely true with me. I've, I said again, I've had Crohn's for 25 years. I've had, daily symptoms for, I think like 11 years or so. And, so that, balling up, pain or whatever, it's crazy thing about, invisible illnesses is that you can look like any one of us right now, and on the inside, it could be just,
War zone.
Yeah, exactly. Is like bombed out trenches type thing. So in your stomach and stuff. And so so when people tell you, that they have these conditions and stuff, be kind to them. And so just support them. Ask how you can support. And sometimes that's just being like a kind ear. Because there's people are just dealing with them on their own and stuff. So, and so, in your experience, has, music, helped, kind of, especially with your wife and stuff, has your music, kind of helped you guys, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's, there's been a lot of times where, you want to get up, you're in pain and you want to get up and you want to do something and you just want to forget about it for a few minutes. And sometimes, getting her out to one of my shows or something like that, even if she can't stay the whole time, which I've, a testament to her toughness, she'll be doubled over and you can tell that she's uncomfortable and whatever. She's like, but, I hear a song, and at least for a few minutes, it gives me, something else to focus on.
Right. And then to me, it's like, it doesn't even matter, especially if it's music you like, of course it's, in your case, it's, it's your husband and stuff, which is awesome and stuff, but just, for people in general, I think just, myself, music is a really big thing, like, I listen to music at night when I go to sleep, like, lately it's been like meditation, manifestation stuff, but also I like listen to R&B and all this, all kind of different stuff. And to me, like with IBD, anxiety and stress, goes directly to your stomach. And so so finding some good rock and roll, or some good rap, or some good hip hop, some good R&B, some good whatever you're into, can definitely help ease those symptoms. Would you agree, CJ?
I agree 100%. Like, it all depends on like what you're listening to, if it can put you in like a good mood. Because, if you do listen to something, then you hear something like, well, what was that? And then like it irks you in like a way, like it's gonna go straight to your gut. Like, for me, stress is a big what do you call it? Symptom for me that just makes my stomach. Sorry, I'm like having a brain fart right now.
Like it's like a trigger.
It's a huge trigger for me. Like, somebody can say anything to me and it'll just, my stomach will just be like, it's like, relax, buddy. He didn't mean it. All right. Calm down. All right. But yeah, for me, music, whenever I'm feeling down, I have like a happy song. Like, anytime I'm feeling down or sad, I just go to that song and I listen to it, and I'll just be like, all right, it's all gonna be good, and then it puts me in a good place.
Sometimes you need that, you need that eye of the tiger moment, when you're laying there. Sometimes you need something to just like hype you up.
Exactly.
Like, man, I know I can do this. I did this yesterday. I was in just as much pain yesterday and I managed to do it yesterday. I need something to hype me up. I know I can get up and do this. Like, especially in those have to situations. Like, I can't miss any more days of work. Like, this is an important appointment or whatever. Like, I can't, I have a show tonight. Like I can't miss this. I got to do it. So you know what? Like I got to, I need something to hype me up.
Yeah,
Something
like
to get that adrenaline going and get up there and do it.
Like Kevin Gates 6 jobs or something. Like, but just I'm the same way. I listen to the music that gets me hyped up too. And I guess he tries to get me motivated. Like, I guess I'm an older dude now, so like I like listening to like Lil Jon, the East Side Boys, like all that angry yelling.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. I've been talking about my motivation lately. Is I've been listening to Ludacris Chicken in the Beer album. Like that's what awesome. I'm just rolling around like move, bitch. And it's mostly because I need to get to a bathroom and you are in my way right now. And I really don't have time. I don't have time to be polite about this, man. You're holding up traffic. Like we got a situation. I gotta go.
Right. That's exactly right. So I mean, so that's what I would tell anybody that's that's out there listening with IBD, or if you just got diagnosed and stuff, try to find some good music, so something that you can maybe like listen to, like take a walk in a park and stuff, because the tough thing with IBD is that life is still stressful, stuff is still happening, and you have all these symptoms and stuff, and so you have to kind of go the extra mile to kind of maintain your zen. And so so I would music and as meditation and stuff is a great way to do that.
Exercising.
Exactly. And so the exercise part I'm still working on. So but
that could be difficult too. I mean, depending on the severity and like, what you're doing, if you're having flare-ups and then you're having moments every day where, it's really bad, exercising can be really difficult to get, especially to get motivated and do it,
Mm-hmm.
So, another thing is to exercise your mind in that situation. Like if you can't exercise your body, at least exercise your mind.
That is some great advice.
That is good advice. So
that is some great advice.
Let's repeat that for everybody that just heard it. If you can't exercise your body, make sure you exercise your mind. I want to put that in the description.
I literally put that. I did the same thing, but I did it in reverse. I was like, in quarantine, make sure not to only exercise your mind. Make sure you exercise your like physical body as well. Like don't neglect your body.
Yep. And so I mean it's funny because that's something that I'm working on. I'm working on doing I've done a lot of effort on the mind part, but I got to get back to the exercise. And also, to me, like what Adam was saying, that it is difficult. And so, don't beat yourself up. So if you're able to exercise today and you're able to exercise tomorrow, but not able to exercise the next day because of your symptoms, let it go. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm a perfect example of that, bro. I used to work out every day in the morning. Like I would wake up, make my pre-workout, go to the gym. I wouldn't even think about it. But then like I started flaring and it's just like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Like I wake up in the morning demotivated, in pain, hurting. And what I usually do for pain is I smoke cannabis, like CBD and stuff like that. So that numbs the pain a little bit, but then as well, it also, makes me not want to work out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, cause I just want to relax. But I am trying to get back into it in the morning. Like I want to wake up earlier, want to take at least like 30 minutes to like an hour to work out. Nothing too hard, nothing too intense to like aggravate the colitis or to, re-injure myself, because I do sometimes when I get back into working out, I like to go 120%. You know what I mean? Like I put on some inspirational like trap music. I listen to a lot of trap music. So I put on some trap music and I'm just like getting there, like hyping myself up in the mirror. I'm like, all right, we about to get this workout. We about to get this bread today. And then I just start going in. And like me, I go in, I go hard. So I tend to sometimes like not use the proper form. So I end up injuring myself. So that like puts that fitness back a little bit. So
it's funny that me and you have that in common, actually. Like in the kind of going a little bit too hard at the paint type thing.
Yeah,
So,
that's my problem, man.
If you want a low impact workout, here's a suggestion for and and granted it is what it is. You should probably mask up and whatever. But
Uh-huh.
if you're not doing, but if you need a low impact workout, just go to Walmart right now because they got all those little arrows on the floor. Where you got to go all the way around to go the right direction.
Yeah.
Just weave in and out of those for a while. Get you the stuff that you need to get while you're there. It's a low impact workout because you got and I hope and if there's anybody watching, like I hope and you fit the description, please know that it's not derogatory, it's descriptive. You got to weave in and out of the arrows and the rednecks at Walmart. All the red hats and like the whatchamacallem, the Daisy Dukes, where it looks like a 15-pound sausage in a 5-pound casing, that sort of thing. You gotta play the game of like Red Frogger with the arrows and all that in Walmart. And it's a low impact workout. It's not too stressful. I mean, it's like a giant game of Frogger. So if you're not into going hard in the paint, but you gotta get like paper plates or anything like that, this is the low impact workout.
That's very funny. That's very funny. Like, but I did the same thing. Like, I was like trying to like throw up all these weights in the gym and stuff like that, and like, oh no, like, and I always injuries. Like, so like, so you have to, especially if you are stressed out, you do have anxiety. You're trying to just get in there, like, get all that,
release that.
Release that stuff. But the problem with that is that you get a little too hyped up.
Exactly.
And so it's important to just take your time on that.
The thing with me, man, is like I'm hard headed. So like if something like starts hurting a little bit, I'm just gonna wrap it and keep going.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, you ain't gonna stop me, bro. I just wrap it even tighter and just keep going.
Like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't supposed to bend that way.
I know, right? My arms like the other way. I'll be all right.
Yeah, there's been a Robitussin on it, that thing. So,
Shake it up, Motussin.
So, but
I just drink some water, take some Motrin, I'll be all right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just spray some water on it. That you do that too. But right on, man. So, but one of the other things that that we were talking about, Adam, is that there's been some famous people kind of in history, that have had IBD. One of them, like I said, the crazy thing, I guess, about podcasts and stuff is that you never know who's listening. So some people might know this history, they might know it, and then other people will be like brand new information. So for the listeners out there that that aren't familiar, educate the people out there about some musicians that about with IBD.
Well, I mean, as far as I actually have a couple of friends that are musicians that, Crohn's put their careers on hold for years because they didn't have the coverage. They didn't understand what was happening. Friend of mine that's a drummer, he actually waited until the point to where he was basically, you looked at him and he was gray. And he went to the doctor and he had obstruction, he had Crohn's. Like, they basically told him, you are about to die. Like, if you hadn't come here when you did, you literally pushed it to the furthest limits you can go without any sort of treatment or diagnosis. Like, you probably should have gone to an ER or done something. And I'm like, well, that's why we need some healthcare reform. We need something going on because there's a lot of people, not just with this disease, but a lot of other ones that are scared to go to the ER, scared to go to a doctor because they know, they're going to get $1,000, $1,500 medical bill in the mail for, going to the emergency room. And especially if, they go to an emergency doctor or something like that, and they find out they have Crohn's or colitis. Well, now it's not just a simple $1,000 visit that they can't afford. There's a whole list of things that are going to go with that. And so, out of fear of that, they, don't get treatment. And I mean, and as far as famous musicians, I mean, two off the top of my head, one of them was Elvis Presley. And, that's ultimately, I think they said that his intestines were actually what he had. He was actually, they were shorter. They were like 10 feet shorter or something like that than they should have been.
Oh, wow.
Which caused him to retain, and caused blockages, which is ultimately like what led to his heart attack and led to his death. That's people there's jokes about Elvis dying on the toilet and stuff like that.
That's the only thing I've heard. I never knew he had Crohn's or anything.
Yeah,
I heard that he died on
that's
the
why
toilet.
that's why he gained so much weight, and that's ultimately what led him to having a heart attack on the toilet, was dealing with those symptoms. And there's you think of Elvis as the king of rock and roll, but what people don't realize is you'll see a lot of his shows where in the later years he'd gained a lot of weight, and that's one of the reasons that he was gaining so much weight, because he was carrying. And I've seen varying reports from anywhere from 10 to 40 extra pounds of feces that he had not, and that's why he would balloon up like that. And there's stuff that talked about how he would actually have accidents on stage in the later years, to where you'd see him at one point of the show, he's wearing one outfit. The next part of the show, he'd come back on with a different one. And he'd do wardrobe changes, but there was a reason that he was doing those, because he was literally getting sick on stage and having to adjust to that. And that's another reason for, the drug abuse and stuff like that, because, and certainly that, with what he had going on, that certainly wasn't doing him any favors. But
that's probably it's kind of an understatement.
But being in that much pain, what there was, especially back then,
it's understandable.
It was oh well, you've got a tummy ache. Like, well, that's a little more than a tummy ache there, bud. Like, you're totally understating it. And plus, it's a machismo thing too. You're the king of rock and roll. You're Elvis. Like, I'm just gonna,
tough it out.
Yeah, exactly. And another one that had that was Kurt Cobain. Like,
I didn't know that.
That's one of the reasons that he shot up and did the things that he did, because when he was on tour, that guy was in a lot, and he was in a lot of pain all the time. And I'm not saying that that's an excuse for shooting up heroin and doing the things that he did, but I think it does gain a little more perspective as to
why
he was doing things that he was doing.
Really, what that's saying is that, because obviously, doing drugs is wrong and things like that, but a lot of people just don't have the mental wherewithal to go to the doctor. It's too scary, literally, and so
they just can't afford it.
Yeah, but in his case, dudes. He tasted success, and so he had the resources. Maybe not for a very long period of time, but because he kind of died, before they kind of really blew up. They were famous, but
he definitely had enough money to get a doctor.
Exactly. So if he wanted, go ahead.
I was say, ultimately, I think the heroin use was one of those things where it's like, I can't judge somebody too harshly for, obviously, like, I don't endorse like shooting up heroin to get rid of your symptoms, but I also think, too, the fact that you're shooting up heroin, like, it's helping, it was helping his symptoms. So it was like, well, here's the thing, I kind of found what works for me. And I'm getting super like out of this world high off of it. And now I'm not thinking about it. Like I can't, when you're in that kind of pain, I can't, I can't endorse it and say you should do this. But at the same time, like, you found something that managed your pain and you're so relieved that, you weren't thinking about that anymore.
Right. It's a self-medication thing. It's self-medicating and stuff. And there's, people do that and stuff. And so
there's bad ways to do that.
Exactly.
Exactly. Didn't do the didn't medicate the responsible way.
Right, because there's of course there's opiates. There's tons of different kind of opiates and stuff that people can take that doctor can give you, and that you don't have to be worry about getting weird diseases by shooting up and stuff like that. And so like so he and so that's yeah so that's the crazy thing, is that for people that are listening, is that IBD, the symptoms for that are just so debilitating and just unfun, for lack of a better word, that even famous rock stars would rather find themselves shooting up heroin than to go to a doctor and find out what's really going on. Or even Elvis, these people that have all these resources, have people, hangers on, groupies that would do anything for them, and say, hey, find me a doctor that can keep things low key. I mean, that's all they would have to do. And so like, but it's still scary. And that's, a lot of people don't get help because you don't want to know. That kind of ignorance is bliss sometimes too. So it can be pretty scary. So again, people that share their stories, people that go out and get help, like, also, yeah, to me is just, really, hats off to you, because it's definitely not easy. I was also thinking about, and speaking of fitness, how difficult that is. Our friend Joel, is an inspiration. Joel Nixon, he has his page is called Chronically Fit, and he's kind of gone from being underweight into kind of this big buff guy, and he's been really consistent and stuff. And so if you check him out, Chronically Fit, he's a good inspiration to try to put on some weight again.
He was my inspiration. He inspired me to get back into working out after I got diagnosed.
Yeah, and so he inspires me too. And so, but Adam, that's about Kurt Cobain. I didn't know that. So I did not know that, and so that's that's definitely some education. So I appreciate that. So
in the entertainment business too, as in, I think I know for sure that with Elvis it was the case, and I can't say the same for Kurt Cobain. I mean, I'm sure that information is probably out there, and if you know anything about Courtney Love, I'm sure it's probably not far from the truth. But in our business, you tend to have a lot of enablers around you, and people that are, like you said, like hanger-ons, that are more concerned with, well, if he gets sick and he goes down and he ain't the man now, like, well, damn, so maybe it'd just be easier to tell this dude what he wants to hear and keep, like in the case of Elvis's doctor, like that guy should have been banned and barred from ever practicing medicine again, because his solution was give him some pills, ply him with some pills. We got to prop him up tonight. Like, we got to make him feel good and prop him up because he's the king. He's got a show. Like, this is, even they said that even after he died, like his doctor, and those guys just didn't even believe it. He's like, I got to see the body. I know he's fine, man. He's fine. I got something that'll help him out. And I'm like, you were an enabler to the point to where when this man died, you were like, no, I got some stuff that'll prop him up. And I'm like, man, that showed like you were ready to weekend at Bernie's, the king of rock and roll.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Just because your meal ticket was, and that's and so I can understand that with Kurt and with Elvis and stuff like that, how those and that's the other thing, is having a solid support system, whether you're a big time entertainer or you're just working a 9-to-5. If you don't have a decent support system, that makes things a lot more difficult, makes treatment more difficult. I mean, if you've got people around you just telling you what you want to hear, you're going, you're sick, what's wrong with you, and you're going, it's just my stomach hurts, whatever, and you're just playing it off. If you don't have a good support system, they're going to tell you the same thing and tell you what you want to hear, and you're not going to get the proper treatment. You kind of need somebody behind you that's going to go, listen, you hard-headed, stubborn old man, you're going to see a doctor. Like, that's there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're going to do this, and that's with me. That's kind of how I was. Like, I was like, no, you're She's like, no, I'll be fine. And I'm like, no, you're obviously not fine. You're going to see a doctor. Like, I was the one that was like, nope, you're stubborn. You have to go do this. And now the roles are kind of reversed because I'm older than she is. So she's like, listen, you stubborn, grumpy old man, you need to go do this. She's like, remember when you told me? And I'm like, using my own words against me. Like, she's good.
That's awesome. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, I think it's been about a half an hour here. So I think we're gonna wrap things up. But so I really appreciate you joining us today. And so first off, yeah, you're very welcome. And again, thanks, CJ, for joining us today too. And so again, everybody who's listening, we're joined today by Adam Peterson. You can follow him at Acoustidoom on Instagram, and I'll put that in the description. Also, you can check out Crohn's Veteran. We're online at www.crohnsveteran.com. Also, you can check out our brand new merch store. I'm actually wearing one of the hoodies today. Know that if you purchase any of our merch, you're going to be directly impacting and helping people with IBD, just like the host today. And then also please follow my co-host CJ on Twitch. His handle is Chill Ghost. Please subscribe. Also, we have a YouTube channel where you can see this recording. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And I think that's everything.
Follow our Instagram, official.crohnveteran.
Adam Peterson Acoustic on Facebook and Acoustidoom Outlaw on YouTube also.
Sweet. All right. Well, awesome. Well, all right. Well, I appreciate it. You guys stay healthy, stay safe, and have a great day. Thanks.
Hey, man. Thank you for coming, man. Appreciate it. And everybody else, have a good day.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.